Chapter 8. Life Behind Bars. Surviving Incarceration. A day in maximum security felt like a never-ending challenge. The conditions were tough, and I quickly learned how to survive in an environment filled with violent offenders. Living in a block with violent criminals meant that everyone had committed some sort of violent crime. It created a tense atmosphere where fights were always a possibility. When you put a bunch of people ready to start trouble in one place, trouble is bound to happen. It made it a little more likely to get caught up in a physical encounter, given the nature of the people around me. I always had to be on watch and aware of what was happening around me. During my time there, I made a few friends. There was Vito, Bando, and a guy who just went by the letter O. Then there was an older man, around 60 years old, whom everyone called School. I think we had about 6 or 7 of us in total. Together we formed a small group in a place where it was easy to feel alone. Bando lived right next door to me, and we often shared food and talked a lot. Bando ended up in prison just for having a clip. He didn't even have a gun, he just had a clip with bullets in it. But since he was already a felon, every bullet meant more years added to his sentence. It was hard to believe that someone so young, only 26, was facing such severe consequences. He definitely didn't deserve to go to prison, but that's just the way it goes. I mean, half the people in prison shouldn't be there. Every night we had to go on lockdown at 10 p.m. and they let us out again around 5 a.m. This routine became a part of my life. I definitely got used to it. Laundry was done only once a week, which meant risking theft. I remember feeling frustrated when I bought new socks, only for them to disappear. It wasn't uncommon for people to steal your laundry. Your status in jail often determines whether your things would be safe or not. I bought new socks and they ended up missing, leaving me with only scraggly ones. One day before my court appearance, I found out half my stuff had been taken. I threw a fit because I was trying to look good for court. I wrote a big letter about it and complained loudly, but it felt like nobody cared about my issues. I went right to the top of the list of grievances because I was so upset. Nobody should have to deal with their underwear being stolen, but that was just the way things were. Despite the tough environment, I found hope in the letters I received from my family. I sent out a lot of letters, and I was also receiving a lot. My mom would respond with news from the outside world. One time she got a letter from me that was covered in stamps. It was absurd, stamped from top to bottom, left to right, and front to back, just to prove I was incarcerated. My mom took that letter to the jail demanding to know what it was all about. She was furious, and I admired her for that. It was ridiculous what they did, trying to prove something that wasn't even true. I was behind bars for something I didn't do, and that only added to my frustration. Then came the big news about my bail. My bail was suddenly lowered from a staggering $750,000 to just $5,000. When I heard that news, I almost started crying. It felt like a miracle. But the relief quickly turned to frustration when I found out that even though the money was ready, I couldn't get out right away. They received the news on a Friday, but I wasn't released until Monday because they needed to verify everything through the court system. While I waited in jail over the weekend, my friends sent me a huge card. They were at a wedding and took the time to write messages of support for me. It was a giant card, 2 feet by 2 feet, and they had to mail it in 2 different envelopes because the jail had strict rules about how much weight could be sent per stamp. So, they went above and beyond to make sure that I got that thing. And it made me feel a lot better to know that there were other people thinking about me out there, that I wasn't as dead as I thought I was. This chapter of my life in maximum security taught me about strength and the importance of friendships, even in the darkest times. As I prepared for my release, I reflected on everything I had faced. I realized how important it was to maintain connections and hope, even when surrounded by bars and walls. It was the small moments of kindness and support from friends and family that kept me going.